Okay, let's see what we got here. So we got everything that we need. Let's pull up our notes. Let's close this out because I don't need that. What else do I not need? I don't think I need my notes. Oh, my messages. Yep, need that. Cool. Peace. Whoever just joined, welcome. Come into the chat. Say what's up. Welcome to the live. We're getting started. Give people a few minutes to come in. You know us, we usually late. Coach T in the building. Yo, Coach T. Oh my goodness, Coach T. Shit, you just reminded me. I completely forgot about something. But it's cool. We about to fix that. Thank you. How are you, Coach T? How are you feeling? You know what, Coach T? I'm just gonna tell people about. I was gonna pull up your thing, but then that takes away the mystique. And at this point, I think it's been 24 hours, so it's already fading away. But I'm gonna just big you up anyway. First person in the room, that's right. Big up yourself. Coach T, first in the building. You know, my lady Brittany's usually the first one, but you beat her to it. Hey, we here. I hope you got your tea and your food or your snacks or whatever you need, because today is gonna be another good one. Yo, I can't wait to when we start popping to give people shit for free. Like the first one in the building gets like a free something, like I don't know, a free gift card or some shit like that. Like that would be hard. I'm feeling good, sipping on some sparkling water. I love that. Water. Yo, is that who I think that is? My dog Rashida's in the building. What's up, Rashida? Thanks for pulling up to the live. Good to see you this week. Hope all is well. You driving? All right, cool. 2 eyes on the road. You know what I'm saying? Keep it safe. But thank you for joining us, Rashida. Free gifts will be dope. Yeah, it's coming. We're gonna manifest that. I'm manifesting that. Like, I'm gonna start giving away free shit. It's just gonna be popping over here. It's gonna be a vibe. You know what I'm saying? For sure. We back at the desk today. Decided to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? I got tired of being at the dining room table. I put the IG stories from yesterday on my highlights under the mindful scrolls. Oh, okay, bet. All right, let me see if I can still pull that up for us then, because the world needs to see. This shit was so fire, but I still want them to go, but they need to follow you. They need to pull up and check this out. So let's see if I can look this up. There we go. Mindful scrolls. We might have to scroll a bit to get there, huh? Hi Brittany, what's up? What's good? What's up, Britt? It's my little heart right there. Appreciate you. Yeah, you already know. We support each other. Listen, I have so much to announce, but I'm waiting for more people to come in. I'm gonna give them a couple more minutes before we get started, because I'm so excited about this new thing that I'm about to tell y'all about, because it's gonna be a vibe. You know what I mean? So I'm happy Richard is here. I'm happy T is here. I'm happy Britt is here. And then guess who just pulled up? SP in out of building. What's up, Steph? Steph the Don. How are you, sis? How are you? Oh yeah, we got some announcements. It's almost like church announcements, but we ain't in church. But we kind of are. What did they say in the Bible? When more than two come together, I am there. You know what I'm saying? It's a beautiful energy that we're in. You feel me? So yeah, it's gonna be a good one today. Why didn't you tell me my lips look dry on this light? I need to change this light. Hold up. Let's change this lighting a little bit. Can't be out here with ashy lips. Oh shit. Okay. What y'all think? Y'all like that situation better, or should I go with the? Ooh, it's like a light and a dark. I don't know how I feel about that. But that's kind of a vibe too. I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure this shit out. The Spiritual Gems Church. Hey, this is a church where you don't have to pay tithes. How about that? You just come and you get a word and you get to go about your business. Wouldn't that be fire? You ain't got nobody cussing you out and telling you what the Lord put on his heart to tell you and shit. Trying to guilt you into doing something crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, we'll just rock with this. I don't really care that much. Peace, 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 family. I appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for pulling up. I was gonna give somebody. Oh, somebody else just popped in. Okay, maybe I should give it another couple minutes so I don't have to say the same things multiple times. So I'll give it maybe another 2 minutes. Peace, whoever just pulled up. Say hi in the chat so we know who you are. Say hi to the people, to the fam, the community. It's a vibe over here. Oh, I can't wait to make this announcement. Ooh, I can't wait, yo. I cannot wait. Man, I love this. All y'all know each other in here. You would think that like we all be hanging out on a regular and shit. It's a beautiful thing. So Steph, Britt, what are y'all sipping on? Are you guys at work? Well, we got water, we got tea. Y'all know y'all gotta clue me in on what's going on. I'm about to pour out. Shout out to Britt for making me some go-to cola. About to pour that up. We do on the Astro. Facts. I really do feel like we be hanging out. You know, this is a little personal, but I had a dream and Tiara was in it. I told her about it already, so she knows. It's no surprise. So that's a fact. We do be hanging out, like helping people on the astral plane and shit, which is crazy. I'm out here healing people in the astral world, which is wild to me. Like, damn, no wonder I be tired when I be waking up. I don't get a break. All right, so it looks like it's leveling out. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Peace, family. I appreciate all of you guys. It's amazing. This is a beautiful experience. Welcome to my world, DJ. Listen, Steph, I understand, man. I know that grind. Ooh, I just stopped that grind. When was it? Last December was my last day of my other job. So I understand. I was like, I can't do this anymore, yo. I had to let it go. But it's all good. Something's breaking for you. We're working on that as we speak, as we heal. I just saw 722, which is my birthday. So peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope the 8-8 gate energy has been kind to you. I know that there's been a lot of like solar flares and things of that nature coming in and really bringing in some intense energy to obviously heal, Gaia, Mother Earth, Daughter Earth, however you want to name her and her beautiful energy. And in so doing, also giving us some upgrades, right? Keep reactivating some of our junk DNA. And so many of us are experiencing symptoms, right? Like some of you may be feeling sick. Some of you may be feeling some body aches and pains. I've had 2 people kind of get sick or like in my life that I know of. And so, and are recovering now. Part of that, I mean, yes, you may have gotten some too. So I don't know. But generally speaking, there are some upgrades happening and you can experience maybe some lethargicness, fatigue, headaches, cold symptoms and stuff like that. It's because you're being upgraded. So just keep that in mind. So make sure that you are hydrating. Make sure you are eating as healthy as you can right now. Maybe doing some intermittent fasting and things of that nature, just to kind of like just listen to your body and give your body what it needs. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely the time for that. So just be aware of that. Okay. Is that what's going on? Oh my God. Yeah. a little bit of that. So just be aware, man. Side note, I don't even want to get into this, but I just got some interesting news. You know what? All right, I'll pause on that. My bad. I'm getting distracted. Let me stay focused. All right, so announcement. Guess what? We've been talking about this shit for I feel like weeks, but we finally have our official community place where we can all get together, hang out, talk, share information, I can drop gems in the middle of the random week for you. You don't have to wait all the way from Wednesday to Wednesday to pull up, talk to me, share information amongst each other, because we have created our official community on Telegram. If you look in the pinned comment at the top there, or wherever it would be on your screen, is a link to that community. I believe if you click that link, it will literally take you to the community and you can join. There's nothing in there yet, but there's going to be an option to join the channel. From there, you just hit join the channel. I'll get the request and I'll be able to let you in, because, this ain't just for everybody. It's private. You know what I'm saying? It's an exclusive club of like-minded individuals that are here to do the work. You know what I'm saying? So are here to ascend. So, shout out to us for making that happen. I'm so excited. So what can you expect? Well, I plan on sharing things like some affirmations, right? Words of encouragement, general conversation, things that, spirit makes me aware of that I can share, right? So like, ascension symptoms, for example, right? I can share like, hey, this is what's going to happen in the middle of the week, and we can just kind of ride like that. Oh, Bree, that's you. Thanks for pulling up, Bree. Um, and so, yeah, it's going to be an amazing thing, and it's going to kind of grow from there. You know what I'm saying? But this is where we're starting. And so I'm looking forward for y'all joining that community. Peace, artist. Thanks for pulling up, my guy. I didn't even see you, my brother. You snuck in through the back door. So I am just so happy about that. Now, some things, I kind of came up with a random name. So we might have to vote on the name to figure out what we're gonna call our community. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. But yeah, I'm super excited, man. It's gonna go crazy. Let's go. So yeah, so that's part of the announcement. Um, let's see. Second announcement. Ooh, how do I do this? I was hoping to share something that Tiara has on her page. She really did something absolutely amazing. So shout out to our very own Tiara Alicia in the building. If you guys don't follow her, please follow her on Instagram. Um, Tiara, if you don't mind, that would be wonderful. If you could type your Instagram and at yourself, that would be great. Shout out to her. She currently has an amazing sale going on for August on her coaching programs. I'm telling you, y'all, for those of you who are trying to figure out your online presence, online archetype, where to go next, all the things, man, all the things. She's got it. She's got it on lock for you, man. So please take advantage of that. I am currently trying to figure out where this thing I wanted to show you is, but it ain't working out. So my bad, T. It's okay. Y'all need to go to her stories and go to her mindful scrolling section under her page. Her name is at Tiara Alicia, Tiara, and then another A, Licea. I promise you I could read. I went to college. There you go. Thanks, T. But what she did was fire, man. And, what she put together, it was just her, if you don't mind me sharing, it was just her just being in her passion, which is something that we're really going to talk about today. You know what I mean? She kind of did something on a whim, and it just ended up being like visually impeccable and very, very impactful. So please check that out. All right. Cool. So I think it's time for us to get into the message. Don't forget to click the link and join the community. Send a message to your boy so that we can get you, get you in. And at some point, I'm gonna find the right document because I don't know where the hell the document went that I need to use for today's live. Nope, it ain't this. What did I call it? I think I called it Bluetooth Live 7. Nope, this ain't it either. Appreciate y'all patience. My bad, y'all. I don't know where this shit went. That's crazy. It must be purposeful. Today. All right. So it was today? Oh, okay. This is it. All right. Whoops, my bad. All right, cool. We here. We here with it. Mercury in the lemonade. You heard? Yo, that's a fact. Mercury is still at retrograde, I think, for another couple days. Should be over soon. We listen, there's some shit cooking up. There's some things going on in the world. I think we're gonna have to talk about this in the Telegram because obviously I don't feel comfortable talking about some of this shit on YouTube for obvious reasons. But we got to talk about what's going on. Some plans that these let's just call them these people. These people are trying to bring forth that we need to be aware of and mindful of. We're still in our 8th year, which is the year of abundance, but following 2024 is going to be 2025, which is a 9-year. And what do we know about 9 years? Well, nine is the number of transformation, excuse me, and endings of cycles, right? And so we know and understand that some of these people are going to go out with a fight. I'm just going to say people because it's easy to say. So, which means that it's going to be some interesting energy and some things going on that we just, we want to be aware of, But ultimately, as long as we are making decisions and choices to put us on our highest timeline, we'll always be fine and taken care of. But yeah, maybe we'll dive in more into that on the Telegram. So another incentive to join if you want to know what's going on. All right, cool. So reminders from last week. We gave you some affirmations. Have y'all started at least your affirmation work, your intentions, your journaling? Have y'all gotten to that yet? Let me know in the chat. Por favor, gracias. Y'all ain't know I knew Spanish, huh? Yeah, I'm multilingual. It's like, nah, I'm not. I just know a couple words in some languages. But yeah, y'all let me know in the chat if y'all got to your intentions. If you have not, this is your reminder. Yes, I did your journal drop prompts from last week. Oh, yes, the journal prompts that I gave y'all. Did y'all use those? Listen, I used mine, and man, I did it myself, and it was absolutely amazing. What a transformational experience. It just was so high vibrational. Britt and I, we went out to a local park, and we were outside, and it was raining, but we were under this dope ass gazebo thing, pavilion, and we're right next to like a river in the middle of the fucking forest. It was absolutely perfect. Birds were chirping, the rain is falling, and I'm just, I'm a water sign, so I love water. It was just absolutely beautiful and just high vibe, and I was just in that space, man. So if you have not, this is your reminder to go back to the video and get the journal prompts. I'll probably put the journal prompts again in the Telegram as well tomorrow. I should probably write that down, but whatever, I'll remember. Yeah, please do so. Take advantage of the journaling. It helps you get kind of deeper into your bag, helps you to understand what you're trying to manifest and why, and from what energy and space. And so, you're really manifesting the things that you desire, right? Because a lot of the times what I'm seeing people telling people to do is just, you want to be a millionaire, manifest that. Like, it's more than just wanting to be a millionaire. Why do you want to be a millionaire? What is the purpose? What is that going to do for yourself and your world and the people around you? Right? What is the values? Okay. So focus on those things. Focus about how money makes you feel, not just attracting money. Right? Okay. So that's a reminder for you. Okay. I think I might start doing like affirmations of the week. So this is one of the affirmations that Spirit gave me like a few days ago that I want to share. And this is an affirmation that I want you guys to kind of just say to yourself just periodically throughout your day. I love it when I follow my intuition effortlessly. So you may want to write that down, or just remember it in your mind. I love it when I follow my intuition effortlessly. See, if you keep telling yourself this over and over and over, when you get your promptings, it becomes easier to act on them. And what Spirit will do is they'll put smaller smaller tasks or smaller inspirations. Like, oh shit, I feel like going to my favorite coffee place today, right? Even though it's across the city, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go. You know what I mean? And you're gonna go there and they'll have like some new type of flavor that you never tried before, and it's gonna be absolutely amazing. And you'll have this great conversation with the baristas and y'all breaking down, and you might meet some random person or maybe see somebody you haven't seen in years, and it's just gonna be a beautiful thing, right? So just kind of like get that in your mind to begin reprogramming your mind that, I just love following my intuition just effortlessly. And the idea of saying that you love something puts you in that vibration, right? And remember, we talked about vibration and what that means. And the higher vibration that you're in, the better attractor you become, right? So, yeah, little tidbits. All right. So, Spirit wanted me to share that for you to you guys. So, hopefully, that you find that helpful. Okay. All right. So, here's some other things Spirit wanted me to let me know before we get into the knowledge for today. Um, when using your intuition and following Spirit's guidance, and you're unsure of who is giving you the answer, right? So you're in meditation, you're asking Spirit for an answer for something, and you get something that comes immediately. And sometimes you're like, I don't know if that was me, my ego, or something else, right? So Shaman Durek put this back in my awareness. I was watching something, and he kind of reminded me of something I learned from him some years ago. And he says basically that you basically use Shaman Derek's method of asking if this voice that you're hearing is serving the highest vibrations of love. Okay. So in addition to you obviously putting protection over yourself when you meditate, etc., that's obviously important. You can also use this as a method to make sure that when you're hearing these voices, that you're hearing the right voices, right? It's not something from your ego or a lower version of yourself or an entity that, you may have opened yourself up to and you didn't know. But we're not gonna unpack that here. That's not for me. Y'all could go to Ascend Through Healing to learn more about entities and shit. That's a whole nother world. And if y'all don't mind, like it's 6 of y'all in here. Do you guys mind like liking the video and share it with someone too if you feel like? I would love that. It helps me. It helps with the algorithm, or however you say the word. Thank you guys so much. All right. Other messages that we got. Okay. So this message is for the empaths, the star seeds, the star beings, whatever you want to call it, the old souls, the people who feel like they've been here before and just know shit and they don't even know how. Okay. Listen up. Like many of us get hit with bouts of sadness and intensity, or anxiety out of nowhere. Right. And you'll be having like a string of days where you feel great and everything is up. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, yo, why do I feel this heavy ass energy? Like, why do I feel like anxious? Why am I feeling this bout of sadness? Why am I feeling unhappy? I thought I've already kind of like went through my situation and accepted it's going to change. But like, what is this energy? Right. Well, here's the thing. That isn't coming from you. I want you guys to know that some of you are actually transmuting for the energy of the planet, for the collective. Okay. As an empath, many of you are unaware of this, but let's break this down. So typically an empath, right? An empath is someone that typically you're in a room and you can feel the energy within the room. You can tell who to kind of stay away from. You can tell who has an attitude, who may be going through something. And even though they're not saying it or pretending it, it's just like, yo, it's like, yes, something is not right. Or you're around someone, you can just feel the energy. And it's like, yo, your energy is just not cool, bro. So you have this feeling thing within you. And so part of your job as an empath, you may not remember this. Well, we obviously don't, none of us really remember this when we come here. Part of your job is to transmute energy, right? Not just for yourself, but for others. And so sometimes you're gonna wake up and shit, you'll be like, damn, I'm just having a bad day, no matter how many affirmations I'm saying. Like, what the fuck is happening? Well, I'm here to remind you, to let you know that this deep sadness, intensity, anxiety out here is for the planet. It's for Gaia. It's for, the collective. It's for the people that's dealing with war in other countries, people who are feeling extreme sadness. You're transmuting that energy, okay? So don't take it personally, okay? It's what you signed up before coming here. So once you are aware of that, you can ask spirit to remove that energy, right? To help move it. Okay. Make sure you're going outside, making sure that you are stretching, things of that nature. Okay. So I just wanted to remind you guys. So that's a message for my star beings out there, the empaths, star seeds, all of y'all. Okay. Cool. Okay, next message. Talk about empaths. Okay, cool. So empaths, I already talked about that, but just remember that you guys, and we're about to finally start the message. Peace, peace, elevation. Thanks for pulling up, yo. Hey, Shuni, what's good? Coach Shuni in the building. All right, so we're gonna finally get into the message. So thank you guys for taking those in. For those of you who just came in, click the link at the top if you want to join the community on Telegram. All right, appreciate y'all. Uh-oh, Jay, what's up, Jay? Hey, what's up, cuz? Thanks for pulling up, yo. All right, so let's get to the message of today. So here's the thing. As we were talking about empaths, understand that a lot of you older souls, the people who came here to actually feel the shit, right? Many of us, some of us may not fully accept this, but like if you're like the black sheep in your family, if you're the one that's kind of like different, you know what I mean? Luckily, thank God I have, you know, a couple of family members who are aware in my family. But I can imagine like if you're in a family and you're like the only one, it's just like, yo, am I the only one that sees like this shit that we're doing is toxic and fucked up? That's by design. Okay. You came here as part of your contract, you know, to feel what's going on, right? To break the generational barriers and curses, the things that have been going on, the things that haven't been dealt with, the sexual abuse, you know, the alcoholic abuse, the abuse of all kinds, physical abuse, whatever it is, the ignoring of emotions and feeling and just focusing on the masculine self, right? Like, you know, they looked at you as the crybaby growing up or whatever it was. You're like, yo, like, why are you so sensitive? Because you're meant to be. Because in your bloodline, there's been hundreds of years of this suffering happening. All right. And it's time to break the cycle. This is the perfect time. The galactic energy, if you look at the astrology, all of this is pointing to this is the best time for you to feel and to heal and to move forward so that we can all ascend. So a lot of you came to break these generational curses and timelines. All right. So that people in the future, whether you have kids or not, you're healing. As long as you're healing, your bloodline heals. And that's one less person that has to go through the trauma in the family. So if you're healing shit about money in your family, that means that in the future, there'll be less people in your family that has to go through this hurt or may not ever have to go through that hurt around money again. If you were sexually abused and you actually healed it and stopped the cycle from happening, right? Not repeating the behavior, you're helping heal your bloodline so the buck stops with you. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's a challenging job. Okay, it's not for the faint of heart, but you're built for it. Understand that. You have all the power within you, even though your entire life, your family may not have supported you. They may not have bigged you up. They may not have known how to understand why they feel so uncomfortable around you. And so they instead of getting in touch with those things, they blamed you for everything. They projected onto you. But it's okay. You're built for it. You're meant to handle that. See what I'm saying? So let's watch a little bit of a something because you know I gotta have the visuals, you know what I'm saying, to really, you know, help illustrate my point as well. And thank you guys for liking the video. Hey, y'all are the best. For real, for real. All right, so let me share my screen a little bit here with you. And I don't know what type of accent that was. That's clearly some type of weird, nervous shit that we're doing right now. Hey yo. All right, fam. Can y'all see the screen? Hopefully you can. Let's see if I can. All right, it looks like you guys can from my side. All right, bet. T says yes, she can see the screen. All right, let's play this out real quick. Cool, cool, cool. Volume is up. Volume is on. Let's get it. This is your reminder. You are all breaking generational curses. Let's get it.
Breaking a generational curse looks like creating wealth for generations or getting your family out of poverty. But in reality, breaking a generational curse could be as easy as going to the grocery store and choosing something different. It could be you choosing different types of relationships in your life, switching the type of content that you consume, the books that you read, the music that you listen to. Some of you are breaking generational curses simply by going out on a walk every day. My family has never really been into wellness because the reality is they come from poverty. All they wanted was to survive. They prioritized their work so much, and I'm so grateful for that. Unfortunately, my dad last year lost one of his legs and was in and out of the hospital to this day because of his diabetes. I was pre-diabetic. I have PCOS. I'm insulin resistant. I am breaking that generational curse. I'm prioritizing myself over work, using different things at the grocery stores. I'm going out on daily walks. That on its own is breaking a generational curse. So many of you are doing versions of that. You don't even notice. You don't give yourself credit. If you grew up low income, if you come from a broken family, if you're an immigrant and you haven't made it yet, I want you to take a look at the little things that you've been changing every single day that are setting up the generations to come. That other people see, that you post on social media, that you talk about with your circles, that is changing their lives and your people. Some of you are breaking generational curses and
Ain't that some bars? Facts, facts, facts. Tiara said facts. Yeah, it's really true, y'all. So what you're doing is it's nothing short of absolutely incredible and amazing work. Now, you may look at this and think that like, oh, she's just walking a few times a week, right? But this is so huge. If diabetes is running her family, she's saying she has PCOS, which means that she already has she was born with a natural, probably like insulin resistance due to how she was raised, probably the diet in the home, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Something as simple as making better, more healthy choices in the way that she eats and walking is breaking generational karma so that her children don't have to go through this, right? Or future generations will have examples. And by healing the DNA in your family, I know this shit sounds crazy. Probably Joe Dispenza I'll probably find something about that and he can explain it more in scientific terms. I just know it to be true. It's just something I feel to be true, right? That we are able to repair our DNA, right? Because we know that there's certain foods like romaine lettuce, for example, is known to repair DNA. And there's probably some other ones out there, but that's the first that came to my head. So my point is that DNA, they're learning through epigenetics and the study of these things that DNA can heal itself. Okay. There's also studies in epigenetics that points to the fact that trauma is passed down through lines. So things like maybe having fears about snakes. You can be born with a fear of snakes because of something happened to your ancestors some time ago. See what I'm saying? If you've had ancestors that went through extreme trauma, right? Like slavery. Many of us are people of color in here. So many of our descendants are former slaves or have taken part in that experience in some way. Right? And so you come here with that in you, this fear of authority, et cetera, et cetera. And that's of course reinforced by the system today, right? And especially in the West, that's all they talk about is racism, this white black thing, right? You can only simply look at the previous generation. They have a very deep belief system in this racism thing, you know? And I don't want to minimize it, but I kind of want to minimize it because we gotta move past it. Like, let's be honest. I'm gonna just keep it $1. This whole white and black thing, shit don't matter no more. At this point, everybody's feeling the pressure. Okay. So for those of us who are still holding on to like, I'm a black this and I'm a that this and I'm an indigenous that, fuck all that. We all oppressed. There's a few select people on this planet who are running the world and we're allowing them to do so, even though we are the majority. But I got to be careful about how I talk. So that's a conversation for another day. Let's go back to the healing. Steph said, you said a mouthful. Jay said, that's real. Yeah, Jay, that's a fact. You know the vibes. Generational trauma is a thing, yo. Yeah. And so when Spirit put this in my awareness, I was like, yo, I got to share this because many of us who are, we felt like black sheep in our families for a long time. I know I was like the rebel, right? Like, I was, what is happening right now? Whoa, that was weird. I was meant to do specific things. I've always been extremely intelligent, but like, I didn't have the emotional support that I needed. And so my life ended up a different way, right? It took me a long time to find my way. I was lost for a really, really long time, suffering from not having a father in my life. And then, there's some other things that we don't need to bring up right now, but life happens. We all have some level of trauma, right? And it kind of just takes you to a different direction. But leave it up to my parents, my life would be very, very different. You see what I'm saying? And so they didn't know how to handle someone like me, right? And that's okay, because I am meant to heal certain things. You see what I'm saying? And to point out certain things. You feel me? Because our parents didn't have the knowledge that we have, didn't have the access. And this is no disrespect to them, but let's be honest, they talk about us being the most brainwashed, but I mean, they're probably even more brainwashed, right? Because they're less open to certain informations, right? They're used to the news and watching, like, let's be honest, our parents watch the news like it's their favorite show. I'll never understand that. And we all know what comes on in the news, right? I don't even think I need to say it. So, yeah. Anyway, they didn't have the capacity. Like mental health wasn't a thing up to about what was it, Jay? You may be able to correct me as a counselor, but maybe about 10, maybe 15 years ago, it's only now really becoming something that people are more aware of, especially in the Black community. Like you having a issue, you having depressive states, what? Please, you fine. You just lazy. You just don't want to work. You just want to do this. You just don't want to do that, right? That's ignoring the shit. This is the generation that doesn't know how to feel. You see what I'm saying? Side note, 1998. Wow, that's crazy. And so for it to become mainstream, we probably again aren't seeing that for many, many years later. So that's so interesting. But thank you for sharing, Jay. Projection after projection. And that's a fact. It's always so interesting when I hear the older groups talk about some of the younger groups, but it's just like, yo, you're a lot of the reason why the younger groups are the way that they are. But anywho, that's not to shift blame because we must all do our work. Okay. Especially when we become adults. But it is what it is. All right. So yeah, I just want you guys who are empaths, who are the black sheeps of the family, who like feel like you haven't figured it out. Like it's because you're here to do shit like this young lady. She's going to make sure, like you could hear how passionate she's speaking. She's like, this shit is not happening to me. I'm not losing my foot. Like I'm not losing my life to diabetes. And there's a lot of people that suffer with these things. And we can get into the details of why that is and health and all that. I ain't trying to, but my point is she's determined to not let that affect her, right? Because what she inherited, she just inherited. And so if you're the black sheep, like if you're the meek, you know what I'm saying? You are the people who have been viewed as disempowered and unwanted and thrown in a corner and weird or whatever. It's time for you to rise in your power and understand this is why you are the way that you are. You are meant to be the way that you are. So be your full self. Be proud of who you are. Stand 10 toes down on what it is. Make the choices and say, yeah, I'm not going to be eating this type of way that y'all be eating. I don't give a damn how good it tastes because it's a choice to participate. It's not in alignment with you. So be the leader, be fearless, step into your power. This is what all of this means. Okay. It's time. We not hiding no more. We out here, huh? Let's go. All right. That was a little bit of ego, but let's get it. Let's get after it. All right. One's in the chat if y'all feel me up in this joint. All right. So, I apologize. I missed the message from earlier. I don't know who this is for, but just take this as for a grain of salt. This is a separate message from what we were just talking about that I forgot to talk about earlier because it's misplaced, but I just want you to know about it, okay? Life is about balance, especially in partnerships. The ego loves the idea of being with someone like us. Okay. Understand that that's a red flag. Your divine partner is going to bring balance into your life. Okay. So, what does that mean? That means a lot of the times, and I know I've experienced this personally when I met someone that I was with, we had some similar signage in our astrology chart, and I was like, oh shit, this is my twin flame. And I was like, this gotta be the one. And it wasn't the one. Okay. And so a lot of the times the ego likes this kind of shit, right? It likes the person that likes to do the things that we like to do, right? And on a surface level, it matches up, but a lot of the times it's not our divine partner. Your divine partner will like those things, but will also create balance. So let's just put it on a plain, simple level kind of example, right? We can't both be spenders in this relationship, right? Someone needs to be better with management of money and saving, and the other one, the spender, right? The person that's willing to take more risks versus the person that's more conservative. Why? Because that creates more balance. But if you have two people that like to fucking shop, guess what's gonna happen? Y'all gonna be broke as fuck, no matter how much money you make. You just have a bunch of shit in your house. It'll be lit. Y'all gonna look good. Y'all gonna be fly as shit, taking all the trips, but y'all will never have any type of generational wealth to pass down. Nothing will be built because you're spending money like you're drinking water. So I don't know who that message was for, but that's what Spirit gave me. So hey, we just giving it out. All right. So I just wanted to share that real quick. All right, cool. So transitioning again. I apologize if this is very random, but this is just how the message came out this week. Okay. You must take responsibility for you and how you feel. You are not a victim. Stop blaming your parents, your exes, your bosses, etc. It's you, not anyone else. Are you ready to take responsibility for yourself? Listen, yo, this victim mentality thing is just like, they did this to me and my parents and oh. Listen, there's an aspect of acknowledging and saying that, like, yeah, these things definitely happened to me. It's happened to me, right? A pain was inflicted. My parents failed me. My society failed me. My friends failed me at moments. Whatever it is, whatever happened to you, like, it's cool to acknowledge it. It's a part of the awareness process that needs to happen in healing. But understand that you are not a victim of your circumstances. Like, people, I was about to say niggas ain't out to get you. People are not out to get. I said it anyway. Jeez, sorry. People are not out to get you. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh gosh, the filter is not there today. Mercury retrograde. We're gonna just blame it on that. I'm gonna be a victim and blame Mercury. um, yeah, but to keep it real, let's keep it a buck. Like, this victimhood shit, it doesn't fit you. It doesn't fit you anymore. Leave that shit alone. It's done. Leave that shit in the past. Starting from this point more forward in this new life that we're creating, we're taking absolute responsibility for ourselves. Okay. It's not our race, it's not our religion, it's not church that did it to you. Like, those days are done. It's time for you to take responsibility for yourself. Stop blaming your circumstances on other people and other circumstances. It's time for you to claim your power. This is part of the reasons why you are meeting some of the challenges that you've been meeting in this life, me included, right? Message. This is for everybody. Like, we got to take our power back and stop blaming other people for shit. Oh, it's the government. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Like, nah, son. Like, it's time for you to get it, irregardless of that. It's time for you to heal so you can move forward. It's time for you to take responsibility for yourself and stop using it as an excuse. Oh, I'm so tired from work. That's bullshit. Prioritize yourself more. Eat better foods. Go to sleep earlier. Stop finding excuses to not step up and to do your spiritual work. The days of that shit is done. And I'm sorry for speaking so rough, but this is how it gotta be. Because we don't have time for play no more, fam. We don't. And listen, I also gotta say, with no judgment, it's okay if you don't make the choice, but it just gets more uncomfortable for you. So you might as well do the shit now. Real talk. Brit laughing. Turn excuses into reasons. Come on, T. Come on, Coach T, with the bars. Turn excuses into reasons to do your shit. You know what I'm saying? Bree said, Okay. That's new. I've never seen that before. That must be some new, like, new age shit. All right, cool. But I love it. Thanks, Bree. All right. And this is going to go into what we're going to see next, right? Taking responsibility, understanding more of ourselves deeper. This is what I do here. This is what we do here. We understand ourselves on a deeper level so that we can heal and we can live our best life. Because it doesn't matter how many times, by the way, you say, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be successful. You won't be successful fully in the ways that you really can. You won't truly expand and be as rich as you really can as possible until you heal your shit. Okay? That's just how it works. You got to let go of the past. You got to let go of the limiting beliefs. You got to let go of the traumas that you're holding on to, that you're wearing as a fucking shield. Excuse my language, sorry. As you're wearing as a shield. The facade, the ego, it all got to go, fam. It all got to go. It all got to go. All right. So here's the other message. So for those of you who wrote your manifestations, for those of you who didn't, please take advantage of that. Watch the previous lives from last week. There's in part 1 and part 2, so you can participate in this energy. We have the 17th coming up, which will be another 8-day. And then the 26th is another 8-day, another great day to take advantage of the energy. Okay. Please, please, please take advantage of that. All right. So you wrote your manifestations and now the work truly begins. All right. So know that this road of abundance isn't on some soft girl, soft boy era shit. All right. Meaning that it's just gonna come to you, lay back and it's all done. Nah, it requires work. You must heal to receive your abundance because old belief systems will ruin it, get in the way or prevent it. It stops you from attracting it. All right. Today, we will unpack that a little bit to help you reframe and rediscover what's important to know of you, right? And what's required of you. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So your ego creates a distortion on what you see in your reality. Okay, the brain uses past experiences, expectations, and context to fill in gaps in perception, which can lead to assumptions. Okay, this process is efficient for the brain or the mind to just kind of quickly access information like, oh, I see this is what it is, right? Because I'm pulling from my past. I'm pulling from something I've seen before. This is similar to that, so I can associate it as this. This process is efficient, but can also result in errors like optical illusions or misinterpretations, which is why being aware of this is extremely critical to improve critical thinking and empathy is also super important. All right, so I have like a quick article that we can just jump and hop all over to. This is a really dope article. I didn't copy and paste this, but this is a really dope, like small little thing from somebody's podcast. So shout out to them, whoever the English Plus podcast is. So it says your mind's master illusionist, how your brain fills in the gaps. So it says, have you ever misread a sign, heard a word wrong, or seen something that wasn't really there? Your brain isn't malfunctioning. It's simply doing what it does best, filling in gaps of your perception to create a seamless experience of the world. Why your brain completes the picture. Our senses don't give us a perfectly detailed map of reality. There are blind spots in our vision, sounds we filter out, and limits to our attention. Our brains bridge these gaps by using past experiences, expectations, and context to create a best guess of what's out there. Okay, we're going to switch this from the mind to more so the ego and how the ego does this. Okay, here are the benefits of assumption. So speed and efficiency. All right, we won't need to read that. Making sense of ambiguity. Okay, learning and prediction. Okay, so when assumptions go wrong, there's optical illusions. These trips exploit the ways our brains make assumptions about perspective, depth, and patterns. Misinterpretations, we might hear the wrong word in a noisy room or misidentify our face in the crowd based on our expectations. All right. So how many of us hear what we want to hear? Right? A dude would be like, oh, like we could kick it, but I'm not looking for relationships. And someone might, their partner might say like, oh yeah, oh yeah, he wants relationships. Like it's the craziest thing. It's like you hear it, but you completely throw it out the window because of what you want, right? Stereotypes and biases, assumptions about people or situations can be deeply ingrained and lead to unfair judgments, right? So we could think about racism, right? A lot of people in our country that might be of a different race than us may look at people of color as violent, uneducated, um, animalistic kind of barbarian type people. But we're not all like that, right? Because there's just some people on every size, color, whatever that exhibit this behavior. But the stereotypes and biases believe that that's the case, right? So like, they felt at one point that slaves couldn't learn or black people couldn't learn. They weren't as intelligent as whites, and we've experienced all of that, so we get it. I don't need to reiterate that. All right, so here's what's important. Recognizing our perception is a construction and not a perfect mirror of reality. Okay, and it has several benefits. Critical thinking is important. Okay, question your first impressions and be open to alternative interpretations. Okay, so if you see somebody that's attractive on the street, I see something that I like that my ego is attracted to. I might look at that person and be like, fawn over them and say, oh my God, like that person is fine as hell. Like she just looked like she just sweet and kind and loving. She just looked like she just knows how to just do all the things. That's my ego's interpretation and projection based on this idealistic idea of what I think of attractive partners based on my past experiences, what the world has shown me is pretty, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. Right? So what critical thinking says is like, okay, great, she's attractive, but how is she mentally? Is she nurturing? Is she kind? Is she understanding? Is she on her spiritual journey? Is she aware of who she is? Right? All of those things actually matter. Not just a pretty face, not just a fat butt. Okay, not to sexual. Oh my God, why did I say that out loud? I'm just hopefully y'all get what I'm saying. For the maybe for the other people, it's abs, a beard, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, he's swole. He got a nice chest, but what is his heart really like? You feel me? Um, yo, I gotta think before I speak. I can't even see the chat. Anyways, greater empathy. Realize that others may perceive a situation differently based on their own experience and biases. So the example we use of like our parents, right? Our parents went through what they went through. They're just people. You know what I mean? And they have their own trauma. So you can use empathy to release the judgment and maybe the anger that you have about the way that you were raised and treated, etc. Okay. Openness to new information. Be willing to update your assumptions as you gain knowledge. Know that you aren't always right. Know that information changes over time. And so you need to be open to that information. Okay. So for my former religious folks, you probably understand, right? Like there's like a fail safe that they put in these religions where people are just like, no, this is impossible. My Lord would never. You know what I mean? They get into this energy that they feel like this is the absolute truth because they're brainwashed to believe that. But by doing so, you are then not accepting more information, which then limits you, which then keeps you stuck. And then you're stuck in this particular world. And again, that's a choice. All right. So just to be aware, what I'm saying to you here to wrap this all up is the ego / the brain, the way your brain fills in the gaps. So the way your ego / brain fills in the gaps is an incredible survival tool, but it's important to remain aware of its potential for leading you astray by understanding how, excuse me, what else so rude? How perception and assumption are intertwined. You can become a more discerning observer of the world and your own mind. Excuse me, y'all. All right, y'all feel me on that? Now let me see the chat because I haven't had a chance to do this, to look because I was reading this. SP says, don't apologize for speaking the truth because it sets us free. Come on, Steph. Oh, that's a bar. Bree started to tear. My bad, Bree. I ain't know what the AHT mean. I'm assuming it just means I like you're laughing. Rashida said, I told you to stay out my head, DJ. Come on. This message is for us all, but it's also for you too, sis. We here with you. We here with you. What Steph said. So well said. Oh, thank you guys. We with it. All right. Steph was laughing. Your Gemini placements really be popping out sometimes. Yo, you heard? Gemini mind. It's Gemini moon, y'all. It's an interesting place to be in my mind. I'll say that. All right, cool. So let's go on to the next part of the message. Yeah. So we just kind of understood, and hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to get across here about the ego and the mind, right? And how it puts on the so-called rose-colored glasses over your eyes, right? When you're seeing the reality around you and the things around you, it's programmed to see this is what you're going to see. So if you perceive someone that you think is a threat based on your past situations, and they may not really be a threat, they may be here to help you, your ego is automatically going to put those lenses right on. Okay. So a lot of us are running through life not realizing how in control the ego is of you and your behavior based on how you see and perceive the world, the things that you listen to, the things that have been said to you in the past. You will not believe how deep this shit goes. I'm telling you, I have so many conversations with the lovely people around me, people that I've counseled, whatever. We don't get how deep this shit goes until we sit down and we really do the critical thinking and get into empathy for ourselves and dive deeper into how we feel and have empathy for others, that we are able to create discernment and begin to untangle what our eyes and our visuals and our experiences have been telling us the whole time. Everything has been working out for us the whole entire time. Everything is happening for you and not to you. Do you understand? So no matter what your situation is, if you're unhappy right now with the money, the job, the whatever, the relationship, it's happening to show you limiting beliefs that you have within yourself, that your ego, okay, believes and projects onto the world. And so the beautiful thing is, as you reframe your mind, you begin to realize that these ideas and the belief system don't serve me. And so now you could be on a better path to a better relationship with yourself and others. Now you could be on the path to really following your passions, to do your work so that you can truly live a life that's abundant. Do you see what I'm saying? This is how you free your mind from the ego and the mind itself and how it's programmed. Does that make sense? Steph said, yep. All right, cool. All right, so we're going to jump into the next part of this because, you already know we're going to have a video about this real quick. Just some illustrations to kind of just reiterate my point, okay? Because I think it's important to kind of understand. So let's see how childhood trauma affects the ego.
While for most of us, childhood was a simple and carefree time, not everyone is lucky enough to have that. Some may have experienced trauma at an early age, robbing them of their sense of safety and security. Defined as the experience of a single or multiple event by a child that is emotionally painful or distressful. Studies show that childhood trauma often leads to serious, lifelong damages to one's mental and physical health. Have you ever wondered how such experiences could impact a person? Well, there are a lot of ways childhood trauma can impact you. Here are the main ways it can shape your view on life. Number 1, it makes you more pessimistic. How do you see the world? Many studies have proven that people who have experienced a traumatic event, especially when they were younger, are more likely to be pessimistic. They often generalize their traumatic experience into a generalized negative expectation of the world, which makes it more difficult for them to see the positive side of things or trust that good things will happen. Instead, they internalize their unhealed trauma until it manifests as either self-blame, passive helplessness, or a pessimistic worldview. Number 2, it makes you feel more alone. A lot of research tackles the detrimental effects childhood trauma can have on a person's mental and emotional well-being. But what we don't often realize is that these detrimental effects can trickle down to impact our view of not only ourselves, but of the world in general, too. How? Well, childhood trauma is known to increase a person's likelihood of developing depression and anxiety, as well as making them more vulnerable to feelings of guilt and shame. This negative self view then makes victims more socially withdrawn, and as a result, suffer from lower levels of social and emotional support and poor quality of interpersonal relationships. Number 3, it makes you self sabotage, similar to the previous point. A person who's experienced childhood trauma may be more likely to self sabotage, especially when it comes to their relationships. In fact, studies have shown that a large majority of those who have suffered abuse or violence related childhood traumas go on to develop adult attachment disorders. Most of them have a hard time maintaining long term relationships, be it platonic or romantic, because of how their trauma has distorted their view of human nature. Instead of believing in a person's innate capacity for good, they've learned to fear their capacity for evil and deceit, which makes them less trusting and more likely to self sabotage, creating problems where there might not even be one. Number 4, it takes away from your sense of safety and security. Have you ever wondered why some people who've experienced trauma end up struggling with it for years, even long after it's already over? Trauma of any kind can have lasting physiological damage, and when you experience it at such a formative time of your life, such as in childhood, it can take years to unlearn and undo. Being traumatized takes away a person's sense of safety and security, which is crucial to a child's development because it's what bonds them to the significant people in their lives and encourages them to explore the world and fulfill their potential. Without this sense of safety and security, they might grow up to become overly timid, anxious, fearful, or overly attention and approval seeking. And number 5, it hinders your ability for meaning making. Some of the most widely used psychological treatments given to victims of trauma include cognitive therapy, narrative therapy, and logotherapy, all of which focus on helping clients make sense of the trauma they've experienced and create positive meaning out of it. Because victims of trauma struggle with this the most, it's often what keeps a lot of them from moving on and healing from their painful past. Even though traumatic experiences are usually unexpected, uncontrollable, and seemingly random, we still try to make sense of it anyway. But in doing so, it can distort our way of thinking so much that victims often either victimize themselves, where they take away their own sense of agency and being able to do something about their trauma, or blame themselves for what happened. So, have you or someone in your life experienced a childhood trauma that's changed the way you view life? If you are struggling with your mental health in any capacity, please don't hesitate to reach out to a mental health care professional today and seek help.
All right, y'all. So how do we feel about that? A lot of gems. I should have paused it at moments I had things to add, but like how many of us have experienced some of these traits, right? Disassociation, creating problems when there really weren't any, the fear of getting close to people because, they might hurt you, expecting people to, behave in a certain way to make you feel safe. Listen, this is some real shit. Like this is real. Our childhood traumas, our experiences in life, they all affect how we view the world. Okay. Tiara said it's so real. That's a fact. That's a fact. And so once you become aware of these things, you can begin to do the work to release those belief systems because those things that happened to you were real, but they don't have to affect your life. They're not supposed to. They're just supposed to teach you something about yourself. And I know that sounds fucked up, and we don't need to get into that right now. We will eventually have to dive into that. But understand that everything that's happened to you in your past, everything is for you, even to your present. Everything is for you to experience, to learn, to accept, to dive deeper into yourself, right? To forgive yourself, to release the shame and guilt, etc., etc. All right. So let's talk about visual illusions, okay? Because this is important to understand as well. Again, I reiterate my point that I was making previously. Let me make sure this is not okay. It's cool. It's on normal play. Cool. Let's get to it.
Take 5 seconds and try to identify these 6 different phases. this more challenging than you originally thought it would be? What if I put these faces up right? Does that make it easier for you?
Pause. Did that make that easier for y'all? Because I know when I was watching this shit at first, I was like, yo, I could not recognize any of those faces upside down. Steph says, overly timid is something I can identify with and see a lot of other people once I was released from this burden. Seeing a lot of people. Okay, got you. Man, that's deep. That's deep, Steph. Deep, Steph, deep. All right, let's go. This shit crazy. Visual illusions. All right, let's go.
What you just experienced is known as the face inversion effect. You're able to quickly identify faces upright because your perceptual system is designed to notice upright faces. So as you can see in today's video, we are going to be reviewing Unit 3, Topic 2 of AP Psychology, Principles of Perception. Remember from our last video, sensation is raw data. It's information that comes from our 5 senses. The source is sensory organ, while perception is the process of interpreting the information that we obtain through our 5 senses. Let's go back to how we process faces and look at these 2 photos. What do you notice? What you are looking at right now is Thatcher's illusion. This is when we as individuals struggle to identify changes made to a face when looking at it upside down. If we flip these photos upside right, we can clearly see and quickly see the problems with these photos. Our brains are constantly trying to identify faces in the world around us, and they're really good at quickly finding them. This is the part of the reason why it's common for people to see faces in everyday objects. This phenomenon is known as pareidolia. Now, some people cannot recognize faces. This often stems from a neurocognitive disorder known as prosopagnosia, also known as face blindness, which is caused by genetics or brain injury. When trying to understand how an object retains its shape, its size, its color, we have to understand a couple different constancies. Our brains are always making these adjustments, even when we don't realize it. First, we have perceptual constancy, which allows us to understand depth, location, and process information. There's also size constancy, which is the brain's ability to perceive objects of the same size. Color constancy is the perception of color of an object remaining the same, even if the lighting changes. Next is shape constancy. This is when we view objects that are moving, for example, a door opening, but we still perceive the object to have the same shape. Lastly, we have lightness constancy. This is our perception of the blackness, whiteness, and grayness of an object. To illustrate some of these points, take 5 seconds and look at the image on the screen, and let me know in the comment section down below what you notice. Now, when you were looking at the image, what color did you think the strawberries were? If you said red, you're actually wrong. There are no red pixels in this photo. If you saw red, you're experiencing color constancy. Perceptual constancy. Your brain is essentially auto-correcting the image based on your previous experiences. Now, that's just part of the reason. Your brain is also using the colors surrounding the object to base its inferences on. You're also utilizing some top-down processing here. Movies, illusionists, and theme parks take advantage of our senses and perceptions all the time to create amazing effects that boggle our mind. Take, for example, the movie Elf. One of the ways in which Will Ferrell appears to be so large is by utilizing forced perspective. You can see that in this shot, Will Ferrell appears to be sitting on the lap of Papa Elf. In reality, those are the legs of a child, and the actor who plays Buddy's dad is sitting in another chair in the back of the room. Forced perspective tricks our brains to make us...
First of all, this is problematic in a lot of ways. Sorry, that's my immaturity showing up. My bad. Continue.
Think that objects are closer, farther away, larger, or smaller than what they actually are. Now, in processing information, we use what is known as a perceptual set. This is the tendency to perceive certain aspects of an object, scenario, and ignore other aspects of the same stimuli. Perceptual sets influence top-down processing. Remember from the last video, top-down processing is when we use prior knowledge when interpreting the information presented to us. This can occur because of our expectations, experiences, culture, motivation, and our emotions. For example, look at this picture and tell me where the bird is. You probably can see it right away in the sky, but if I told you, tell me where the bunny on the skis is, now that bird doesn't look like a bird, and instead looks like a very athletic bunny flying through the sky. Now that your expectations have changed, your perception may have changed. You're using top-down processing, and your perceptual sets are influencing your perception. What about this image? What do you see? Do you see a 13 or the letter B? If you work with numbers all day, you're more likely to see 13. If you spend more time reading and writing, well, you're more likely to see the letter B. Well, you can also see your experiences and culture impact how you perceive an image. But what if we change the context of the image? Do you still see what you originally saw? Do you see the 13 or do you see the letter B? What about now? Or now, notice how I'm not changing the image, I'm changing what's around the original image. This is influencing your processing. All right, take a look at this picture. Can you see which line is the longest, shortest, or is this just another trick and the lines are actually all the same size? This is known as the
This is the shit that got me. I'm like, what? That's crazy.
illusion. And as you can see, the lines are actually the same size, but our minds have a hard time processing that. The cues that we are interpreting cause us to see them as different sizes. All right, how about this image? Are these lines the same size, or am I just trying to trick you again? If you need more time, pause the video. Here again, we can see the answer is yes, they're the same size. Depending on where in the world you grew up and where you live, you might have a different perception of this image. People who grew up in urban areas or countries that typically have square buildings with lots of right angles, which don't occur that often in nature, may struggle with it. But people in areas of less urbanization and more round buildings with less right angles might not easily fall for this illusion. That's because their cultural perceptual set is not influencing their perception. Your perceptual set is also why when you are angry or really happy, you'll perceive situations and individuals differently. Your motivations and emotions are impacting what you are perceiving. Now, since we are talking about perception, we also have to talk about our schemas. This is a cognitive framework. It's how we organize and understand the world around us. Schemas are based on our experiences and help guide our perceptual set. We start creating schemas at birth, and you have schemas for a variety of different situations and experiences. Think of them as a mental shortcut. For example, when you go to work, you know what you are supposed to do. You know what a good job is and what a bad job is. You know what's expected of you. Or let's say one day you have a child and they ask you what is going to happen at the family birthday party. You'd probably be able to answer them by saying there'll be lots of food, music, games, and presents. You don't know exactly what will happen, but you can use the information from parties in the past to give a reasonable answer. This is a schema. We'll talk more about schemas when we go into Unit 6 and look at development. One last concept I want to address is how our awareness impacts our perception. When watching this clip, tell me how many passes the team in white makes. Did you get it? The answer is 13. But more importantly, did you notice anything weird during the video? Perhaps a moonwalking bear? Or could you tell me how many times the players in black pass the ball? Your attention is limited, and when you focus on specific stimuli, you're utilizing selective attention. If you completely miss the bear, you experience change blindness, which is the failure to detect a change that is made to a visual stimuli. If you actually think about it for a little bit, it's pretty crazy to think about how many things we're perceiving are being influenced, and how our culture and our motivations and our attention and our awareness and all these different things can impact how we perceive the world. But enough of that for right now. Now comes the time for you to...
Nope, we're not answering any of those questions. Thank you, my brother. That was a great, informative video. Wow, right? Like, this shit is crazy. Life is but a dream. Everything is an illusion. Like, everything about how you see the world is because of programming. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. And we don't understand how deep this shit goes. It affects your relationships with people. It affects how you show up in the world. It affects the way that you dress. I mean, there's things that are so impactful and so small that don't really, and minuscule, that don't matter. But hopefully this is opening your mind to understand how much your mind has been under programming for such a long time, of which the way you behave, the things, the choices that you make, the jobs you decide to work, okay, the people that you choose to have in your life, the way that you live your life, a lot of it is because of influence. It's because someone told you. It's a kind of a mind-fucking experience. Let me hide this part right here. Steph said, I almost have a whole freaking attitude over here right now. Oh, why, Steph? Let's unpack that together. No need to have an attitude. It's just, it's great to have the awareness, because guess why this is true freedom? True freedom, if we want true abundance, it means that we must be free. And if we want abundance, we just don't want it in money. We want it in all ways, right? If we want to be free, we want to be free in all ways. This frees up your mind, which allows you to bring and attract more experiences into your life that you truly want, not what your parents wanted, not what society told you, not what the news told you, not what Cosmo magazine, can't even say the fucking word, or what we saw on BT, what we saw on social media. Okay. Me and Britt talk about this all the time. There's this programming for women, specifically the tall, dark, and handsome. That's all you hear. Like, we be watching some of these shows like Love is Blind and stuff like that. You know what I mean? She put me onto that. We watch it together sometimes. And so one of the things that the females always say is like, I like my men tall, dark, and handsome. To the point where like people are idolizing men who are above 6 feet, as if there's anything more special about that, and it's not. There's assholes of any form, short, tall, skinny, fat, like black, white, whatever. You get what I'm trying to say? Steph says, how unlimited the mind is, but how our environment limits our thinking. 100%. We have a lot of work to do to break this false construct. 100%, Steph. That is a fact. This is also why we got to show up and have empathy for the people that are acting out in a certain way. A lot of the times it's because of their environment. People who are abusive have been abused, and it doesn't excuse their behavior, but empathy shows up in an awareness of understanding and not blaming. But here's the thing. Here's our job in this, right? All we must simply do to change the world, AKA move on to a timeline or dimension that is more suited for us, is just simply healing ourselves. We're going to watch some videos from Bashar very soon. And what I love about these videos by Bashar, and one of the things that he talks about, AKA Darryl, I forgot his name. Last name is something. Anyway, so he channels this being Bashar. Anyways, but one of the things he talks about is like through healing yourself. Any healer that's a healer is not necessarily like healing someone else per se. They're inspiring someone to heal themselves, if that makes sense. But we'll deconstruct that later. All right, so I hope that you guys are walking with me at this particular time. So, all right, so we talked about childhood trauma and how it disturbs your perception in life, right? We talked about the ego and the mind and how it distorts your perception, okay? Now, let's talk about shit that's getting in the way of your manifestation, because it's the perfect time to discuss this, right? It's a hot topic right now. We got this energy. And listen, let's be honest. I'm trying to manifest better, and I'm sure you're trying to manifest better. So let's get to it. Let's figure out how we can manifest better. All right, so listen to what Bashar has to say about this. Oh, here we go.
You slow everything down.
Let's start this over. Whoopsie daisy. All right, so insistence equals resistance. Let's get it.
Insistence equals resistance. You slow everything down. You block the doorways through which things could be coming to you, because you're getting in your own way with your assumptions about the way things are supposed to be. There is no supposed to. Let it be what it is. Everything that comes to you, whatever it is that's coming to you, is exactly perfect for what it is. Use it. Stay in the positive state and use it. It wouldn't be there if there wasn't a reason for it. You need to trust the way reality works. You need to trust the mechanism. You need to trust the structure. Just go with the flow. Relax. Because if you know that no matter what happens, it's always going to benefit you, what do you care what happens? That's power. That's power. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how things look. It doesn't matter what doesn't happen. It will always benefit me. That's power. That's a position of power. That's self-empowerment. Stay there. Don't leave it. Unless, of course, you like to suffer. I won't stop you if that's your passion.
No.
But understand you don't have to make that choice. Is this helping?
Very much so. Thank you.
All right. So here's why this little visual is important. We talked about this a little bit last week about writing your manifestation and not being so detailed and so controlled, right? Go based off what you feel and what you desire, from a heart space level, from a higher space level, right? Because when you insist that things need to be and show up and look in a specific way, you then add resistance. And by adding resistance, you then are just putting yourself further and further from one, not recognizing your blessings when they're right fucking in front of you. Even in the moment, yo, there's always something to be grateful for. And listen, we all have our moments, including myself, where sometimes I'll be mad about this shit that's going on in my life and how it's playing out. And like, at the end of the day, I get over it though. It takes me like 20 minutes and I'm like, I have my moment and I get through it. And I'm like, you know what? I just have to talk myself off the ledge. Like everything is working out for me, right? At least I have this. At least I have that. I have a roof over my head. I have this. I have that. You know what I'm saying? You have to be in a space of gratitude in these moments when stuff is not going so-called your way. Understand that there's a reason why that is, and just allow it to be. So if somebody in your partnership is not showing up like they're supposed to, allow them to not show up. Your job is to simply speak up about the things that you do not desire and the things that you would like to see change, and it's up to them to change it. You can't force anybody to do anything. If they cannot meet the expectations, if they cannot meet, well, maybe not the expectation, if they cannot meet your true wants and desires that you've unpacked and you've critically thought about, right? Not based on what society told you is supposed to be what or whatever, okay? Once you get to that point, it's your job to speak up. And then if they want to step up, great. If not, they got to go, champ. Open the door for the opportunity because there's something better for you out there, you see. So when we're having issues in these spaces, sometimes that's the case, right? Life is showing you like, hey, you're playing it small. You deserve better. You deserve more. And so it's time for you to start to step into your power in some way. When you're having issues with this job at work and you're like, damn, bro, this shit, I just can't even stand this job. Like, that's where, no offense, that's where I'm at right now. Like, I have the easiest job in the world. And I'm just like, I don't even want to do this shit. Like, I've had it up to here. Okay. Love and appreciate them and gratitude. But what does this reflect in my world? It says that you're done. I want to do something different. My soul desires something more. There's something else that I'm meant to do with this life, with my energy, and with the majority of my time. I would much rather be doing this. I would much rather be having conversations and helping people heal because I love that shit. That shit sets me on fucking fire. Like, I don't know how to explain it, right? Like, I love the idea of getting people to release their old limited thinking and beliefs and step into this new world. And then hearing of the stories of like, oh my gosh, DJ, like this is what's happening for me. And I'm doing this now. And this worked for me. And this door opened up for me. And I'm like, yes, this is what is possible. This is what you can choose to experience when you step into your power. I would rather be talking like that all day instead of doing what I'm doing. Oh, Lord have mercy. Gotta go to work tomorrow. Anyway, I know y'all feel me in here, man. Some of y'all are in that same boat. But listen. Britt says that also takes a level of belief, knowing that the grass can be greener on the other side, knowing that you are worthy. 100%. That's a fact, right? Well said. That's a bar. Know that you are worthy. And that is part of the lesson, right? From a soul level, it's telling me, hey, your potential and value is being stunted in where you're at. There's more for you to do, and your soul is calling for it. This is why you feel the way that you feel. So now I get a chance to make a choice or begin to make choices to then bring that potential career, experience, whatever that I will feel much more fulfilled and happy doing, participating in, whatever the word that I'm looking for that's not coming to me. And it brings it closer to me, and then I can attract it, right? Because let's be honest, I asked for this. I asked for expansion. I asked in my manifestation, this is what I desire. This is what I want. And now it's coming to me. And now I'm feeling uncomfortable. Guess what? That's beautiful because it's something is working for me right now. Something is changing in my world. Something else is coming in. Right? Space is being made. Come on. Y'all hear me? Man, Steph feels me. Steph feels me. Oh, she was talking about sensory healing. Facts. Thanks, Steph, for real. But yeah, man, this is the work. All right. So let's kind of jump in and let's unpack some things. So we got some more to highlight. You know what I mean? What we're gonna talk about next is to kind of see how deep this is. So we're gonna stick with Darryl Anka. That's his real name, and he channels this being by the name of Bashar. Y'all can look him up. Really dope. We're gonna watch one of his interviews where he is not channeling Bashar, but he's really just talking about the lessons, the knowledge, the things that he shared over the years, which Bashar gave him, and he understands about this construct that we are in particular. And so we're going to kind of jump around like we did with some other videos to kind of just touch on some specific points. So yeah, let's get right into it with the first part of the video. All right, and it's already up. So, okay. So here's the thing that I want to kind of get across, right? It's talking about acting on your passions or joy. Is important and why it's so important. So remember, acting on your passion, y'all, if you are not in alignment, as my example that I just gave of my job, I know I'm not passionate about my job. And then I began to talk about what I am passionate about, right? Which is assisting people through the healing process and helping them free their minds from the things that are limiting their belief systems and freeing them of their traumas. That's what I'm here to do. And when I talk about it, I fucking light up. But when I talk about my job, I'm like, you feel me? So this is partly about how you know. Okay, so that was all purposeful. So let's play this and check this out. Wow.
20.
I can't wait for that. Brilliant. Keep us posted.
Will do.
I want to.
There are kinds of beings that are self-aware.
What just happened?
That become aware of the rock, and then the rock can be aware of itself through us.
I apologize. I don't know what that was.
I can't wait for that. Brilliant. Keep us posted.
Will do.
I want to start the interview by talking about joy.
All right.
Why is it so important for us to follow our own joy?
Acting on your passion is what aligns you with your true vibration, according to what Bashar in the channelings has discussed with us. The idea is that we have a physical mind and we have a higher mind that's non-physical that we use to kind of guide us down here. And the higher mind communicates in energy. The physical body translates that communication as passion, joy. That sensation is actually the result of a connection and a communication with the higher mind. We have to answer in physical action by acting on that passion, because physical action is the language of physical reality, not words, not thoughts, but action, because it grounds that idea, it grounds that energy in this reality. And once we do that, the higher mind knows that we have heard it, we're responding to it, we're willing to commit to knowing that that vibration is our true frequency. It's sort of like the compass needle that points us to our magnetic north. So acting on our joy to the best we can, with no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome is supposed to look like, is what actually keeps us in alignment with our truth, with our path, our purpose in life.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You talked about your higher mind.
Yes.
Now, is Bashar your higher mind or your future self?
Future self.
Yes.
All right, sorry, I went a little bit past that. That was a bar. And forgive me, because Bashar, Darryl, he can speak a little fast sometimes, but like, whoa, that's so powerful, right? Like acting on your joy is extremely important. Following what you're passionate about is extremely important. Excuse me. I apologize. Jeez, what is happening today? Is extremely important. This is how you can then follow your promptings by following your joys, by following the things that you're passionate about and it opening up worlds for you. Okay. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's basically what he's saying in a nutshell. All right. So let's go to another part of the video. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into this. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about, he's going to talk a little bit about understanding the power of your emotions and how you can use them more so as a guidance system. Okay. Because how you feel, how do you know that you're passionate? How do you feel that you're joyful? It's an emotion. You just through how you feel. And so assessing that and understanding the difference between joy, passion, excitement, anger, fear, whatever, is also important. All right. So give me 1 second. All right. Oops, wrong window. I got like mad windows up. So oops, still, yeah, perfect. All right, let's get it.
Okay, you've gone into the realm of polarization, one of my favorite topics.
Okay.
If we're viewing it as such extreme positives and negatives, then how can our feelings ever be this or guidance system? It seems it's easy to get lost in them, especially the negative.
It is, because again, the idea of playing this game is to, at the beginning, sort of forget that you're playing a game. Otherwise, it wouldn't seem real. But the idea really is that we are still nonetheless infinite, eternal, indestructible beings in our core. And whether we get it or not, whether we achieve the results that we attempted to achieve in this particular physical life, there's always another opportunity, there's always another chance, there's always other realms, other dimensions, other lives that we can experience ourselves in, and that never ends. So it's about what we choose to do with what we're creating here, what theme we choose to explore, whether or not we can remember enough of who we are to sort of break out of that illusion and start to remember that we're creating this for ourselves. But if people don't, if they don't get it here, they will get it somewhere. So it's an opportunity. It's like playing a game like chess. Some you will win and some you will not. But overall, you learn how to play the game better and better and better.
So how do our feelings help us do that? And how can we sort of manipulate them as energy?
Well, feelings are the result of what you believe to be true. The way Bashar has explained it in the channeling is it all starts with believing something to be true. It's like the blueprint of the reality. And the feelings are generated from that. Thoughts are generated from that. Behaviors are generated from that. And the experience that is reflected back to you comes as a reflection of what you initially believed to be true about yourself. So if you're experiencing something you don't prefer in life, something that's difficult and a struggle, the first thing to do is ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What would I have to believe is true about myself in order to generate this feeling? Because if you understand that feelings can't just exist in a vacuum for no reason, you'll realize that there's got to be a definition you're buying into about yourself that is actually creating that feeling. So it's good to own the feeling, because you can't change what you don't own, but you have to also be able to use the feeling to trace it back to what kind of a belief you're buying into that would generate that particular feeling. Once you start examining those deep-seated fear-based beliefs that are generating those so-called negative experiential feelings, you can start to see that they don't really make sense when examine them in the light of consciousness. It's something you probably bought into from your parents, your school, your friends, your society. And it doesn't really belong to you. It's just something you thought you had to believe in. But when you start looking at it deeply, you can kind of start to see the contradictions, the illogicness, the nonsensicalness of them. Because you can look around in life and see that some of the things that you believed to be true aren't true for other people. And you go, well, if they can do that, why can't I do that?
Wow. Like, listen, this just builds upon the things that we just learned, right? We now understand how much our past influence our present and what we see in our world and how it affects it, right? Like, this is all reinforced in this moment of what Bashar is talking about, right? And so if your parents made you feel unworthy because of decisions that you made that they didn't agree with, and they said like, oh, you ain't gonna never make it, or you're not gonna be shit, whatever it is, someone didn't believe in you, someone, you know, reinforced negative belief in yourself, you know, someone made you feel like you weren't powerful enough, that you couldn't do it on your own, whatever it is. There's a lot of things that you get in like religion, right? You got to look outside of yourself for something bigger than you to come save you, right? We have the princess stories, the Disney story. Like there's so many examples in our existence that show us that we don't have the power within, and how things are supposed to look, and someone's going to save you, and something's going to happen, and da 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 da. There's so many of these belief systems that we are just programmed by, and it's affecting our reality. And so if you're in a place, which I'd imagine all of us are in some way, shape, or fashion, who are going through this awakening process, and you're realizing like, hey, things aren't matching up or in alignment with how I truly feel about myself, do the deeper dive to understand that I need to change these belief systems that I have about myself that are affecting my outward reality. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Can I get the ones in the chat? Because y'all are a little quiet right now. I know it's a little late. We might have to do a part 2 to this. Appreciate you, Steph. Thanks for walking with your boy. Thanks, T. All right, let's get back to it.
It's something that I would prefer to do. And then can do that. Why can't I do that if it's something that I would prefer to do? And then you start realizing that you can start sort of detaching, delinking those negative beliefs from other ideas, and start going, well, I don't have to believe that. It's not a fact, it's an opinion. And I can change an opinion. I can change a belief, because there are very few facts, but there are millions of opinions and perspectives and beliefs. They can all be changed.
Okay, so it's fluid.
It's very fluid. It's very fluid. That's the whole point, is to allow yourself more awareness of how fluid it is, that physical reality isn't really real, that time and space are projections, and that the more you sort of raise your frequency by awakening into your self-empowerment, that you're creating this experience for yourself within your consciousness, that there isn't really anything out there, then it actually does start taking on a very flexible, plastic, fluid quality. Even space and time start to sort of become a little bit more wonky, so to speak. Synchronicities start to expand in really magical ways, where things seem to happen in the amount of time that you wouldn't think was possible for it to happen. You know, I mean, it just starts coming unstuck. It starts coming unglued, and you start to physically experience how malleable space and time can be. And, you know, even our science is starting to catch up to these concepts, because in recent experiments, quantum physicists are really starting to see that space and time are out the window. It just doesn't really mean anything. There's something more basic than that. And many of them are starting to think that it's consciousness itself.
Yes. And I get into the science. I geek out on
Bars. There's not much to add here, bro. Like, y'all are seeing the point. It's coming together. The picture is forming at this point, right? Change those belief systems, and synchronicities will then happen to make things align in the perfect ways. It shows up in reality. And so things can literally change overnight. And I think also this is why we see, especially on social media, we see like sort of like more meteoric rises of people as of late, where like somebody goes viral and their life changes completely overnight, right? Somebody, you know, has one role in a movie and they just catapult to another level. Someone comes up with a catchy song, and all of a sudden the shit is on TikTok and Instagram and reels everywhere. And so they're traveling the world performing one song, making millions of dollars. You see what I'm saying? Like, part of those things happening is to also show us what is possible when you just act on your promptings, when you just release the old beliefs, right? The world will begin to quickly align and bring you what it is that you desire. Okay. When I think about my divine partner, like, and how we met, that shit is fucking crazy. I'll probably share that story someday. We ain't gonna do it today. But, you know, when I look back, I can judge so many things of like how we came together. But like, it was perfect and it was the right timing and everything just happened like in an instant. Okay. This can be in multiple ways: your spiritual business, your business period, your ideas, your work, whatever it is that you feel like you're called to do, it can happen for you in an instant. It becomes that way when you release those beliefs, because we believe that we need to. How many times have we heard shit like, gotta get it out the mud, hard work pays off, all these things, all these like sayings that program us into thinking that everything has to take time. And it's true, it does take time in this physical reality, but the way in which that it takes can be as quick as we really want it to be as soon as we release those beliefs. It's not going to take you 10 years, right? It took some people 10, 15, 20 years, and that's no judgment to them for them to make it. It's not going to take you that long. You want to know why? Because you're empowered with this information. They had to figure it out the hard way. You don't. You're being given the answers to the test. And now you must simply apply it by filling in the bubbles, bro. How many of y'all cheated before in class? All right, I'm sorry. Okay. All right, we're gonna go to the next part. Let's talk a little bit about deconstructing. Now that we understand more about the power of emotions and your guidance system, following your promptings, etc. Let's talk about deconstructing those old beliefs a little bit more that no longer serve you. So at this point, we understand why we have to do the thing. Okay. But how can we do that? Right? What can that possibly look like? So let's go to where we can discuss this further.
So when you're speaking to me, I'm literally starting to see a blueprint and deconstructing certain beliefs so I can construct others.
Exactly.
And that's why I named the film Deconstructing Sentience. So what in your mind are we deconstructing? Is it the matrix? Is it conditioning, these old programs?
Yeah, we're deconstructing programs because beliefs are programs. But the thing that Bashar explains so well is the idea of how beliefs work. Because you have to realize, again, going back to the concept that physical reality isn't real, so to speak. It's real as an experience, but it's not a real solid thing. So how is it that we continue to perceive it as such? And this is where he says the beliefs come in. The beliefs have to make it seem real, which means the beliefs have to reinforce themselves somehow and keep you believing what you're believing in order to have a physical experience continue. Otherwise, if you didn't have those beliefs, it would all just evaporate and you'd just wake up and you'd be in spirit and go, oh, okay, well, how do I keep the physical experience continuing? So he's basically saying beliefs are designed to perpetuate themselves, to reinforce the idea that reality is real. Now, the positive beliefs, not such a big deal because they're telling you things about yourself that you prefer. The negative beliefs, however, have to, in a sense, work harder than the positive ones because what they're telling you about yourself, in a sense, is a lie. So in order to get yourself to believe things like life is hard, I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, I'm no good, I don't belong, I'm disconnected, none of which are true, the negative belief has to sort of use a toolkit to reinforce all of that. And the toolkit it usually uses are other negative beliefs, fear-based beliefs. And so it gets you to reinforce the reality with the emotions, with the thoughts, with the behaviors that give you an experience that confirms what the negative belief is saying, because you're buying into it as a truth. So if you are attempting to let go of a negative belief, it's going to work that much harder to keep itself going, which means the more you are attempting to let go of a negative belief, the more scared you become to let it go. But you have to start seeing through the fact that that's actually just a trick of the negative belief, saying, if you let me go, something worse will happen. I'll make you so afraid to let me go that you will never let me go. So the irony and the paradox is, the more scared you become, the closer you are to letting the negative belief go. That's the actual sign that you're right on the edge of finally just letting it go. Because really, if you actually do jump into your joyful self, nothing bad can happen.
Yo, we gotta let that breathe. Oh my God. What like what? Like if I had the flex bomb drop, I would be dropping that shit right now. Like boom, like what? Y'all. This is why we got to do it, right? Facing our fears. We talk about this. We were talking about this for months now. Facing our fears, just taking the step, do the thing that your soul is telling you to do. Why? Because the fear that you have is just an illusion. It's the belief system that doesn't want to let itself go. It doesn't want to remove it because of the idea your ego believes that it's going to get worse. A lot of us are in relationships with people. For example, we hear this before, right? Like, you know, uh, the dating scene is horrible out there. Shit, I don't want to deal with what's going on and some of these women and what they got to deal with, or some of these men got to deal with out here. I'm not trying to deal with that. I'll just stay with what I got, even though I know that this doesn't serve me, even though I know this person doesn't truly align with me and where I'm going. We have too much intertwined. We have a house together. We have kids together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so it becomes difficult to let go of these relationships because of the so-called ties to them, right? But these belief systems that you had is what got you here in the first place. If you were listening to your guidance system, well, you wouldn't be here anyway, but you didn't. And that's okay, because you had to learn. No one told you, no one gave you the blueprint until now. But now that you know this shit isn't serving you, then there's so much more for you out there in the world. Like, now you're afraid to let it go because, damn, like what school is my kid gonna go to now? Like, where am I gonna live? Like, how are we gonna sell this house? Like, oh my God, the housing market is crazy. Like, how can I afford this and that? You're not to worry about none of that shit. Everything is gonna work out. You must just begin to make the little small choices to get yourself to the point, and spirit will align it so that everything merges through in the perfect way. Somehow there's going to be a situation where the perfect house is going to show up out of nowhere, and it's going to be at the perfect price. And you're like, yo, how is this possible? And your offer, they're going to accept it. And they're like, yeah, nah, you don't even need to give me the asking. We'll give it to you for this because there's something about you. And I know you'll take care of the home, and we don't need the money. Like, that's the type of shit that happens for you. And you find a school that's even better for your kid, better in a better school district that you would have never thought. You might live in another state now where there's more opportunities for you, where you're making more money, where maybe you're moving down south where your money can go longer, or you sell your house and both of y'all split the profits, and now you have a down payment on this new beautiful home, and now you have even more space than you had when you lived up north, because it's expensive up in his joint. Right? So you outside of Texas somewhere with land and shit, and this beautiful ass house that you're like, yo, that you can afford easily. You have this new job, your kid is in the school that it loves, and the weather is a little bit better, maybe. I don't know, it's hot in Texas, but you know what I'm saying? I hope that y'all are following what I'm putting down here. Like, the fears that you have, you don't need to worry about. Like, it's not real. It's just the ego limiting itself based on your previous beliefs and the fear that it will get worse. But as Bashar just stated, if you're operating in joy, there is no fucking way in hell that it gets worse. Okay? So if you have to leave your job, your partner, change your life, put videos out, write a book, whatever put out music, do your art, whatever you got to do, you do that. Yo, once you decide to act in your joy, I want to use this example so bad, but I can't. Once the opportunity presents itself, you simply just need to take the small step to jump on that. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? Stop being afraid. You're fine. Everything is cool. Yes, it might look like shit is going bad. That's because separation needs to happen. The old things need to dissolve in order for the new to come in. So allow it to happen. Accept that new offer at that new job. Take that interview that just came to you out of nowhere. There's a reason for it. Facts. Britt said everything is always working out for you. Let's get it. We only have a few more seconds of this clip. We probably don't need to listen to the
So
rest
it
of
just
it.
doesn't want you to believe that because it knows if you do,
I lied.
it's gone.
Do you think the most damaging negative belief is separation?
No, not necessarily. Because remember, the only way you can have a physical experience is to believe in some level of separation. So not all, let me put it this way. This is going to sound weird. Not all negative belief systems are negative. You are using a negative mechanism because negativity simply means mechanically creating the illusion of separation, creating the illusion of disconnection. And you have to have some of that in order to focus your consciousness in a physical experience. So negative machinery designed to be separative can be used for positive reasons, just as positive ideas can be used in negative ways. So it's not intrinsically negative in the sense of a bad value judgment, like, oh, this is bad, this is good. That's not what we're talking about here. We're just talking about raw mechanical descriptions. Negative energy acts to create an experience of segregation, separation, diminishment, disconnection. Positive energy acts to create a sense of connection, expansion, and integration, and ascension. So the idea is to understand why and how you're using those mechanisms. You can realize that you've used negative mechanisms for positive reasons. You can realize that you've used positive mechanisms for negative reasons. So you have to be very clear within yourself and your beliefs to understand why you're choosing what you're choosing, and what kind of mechanism you're using and how you're using it. But once you get in touch with how that all works, it becomes relatively clear. You become a little bit more honest in your self-investigation about what you're doing and why. You know what your reasons are. You can sort of see the excuses that you start making to perpetuate certain things and make certain choices that don't benefit you. And as soon as all that becomes clear, you can start making more conscious choices about what it is you do prefer. And you can start even using things that manifest that you don't prefer in ways that you do prefer.
Okay. I heard you say that.
Exactly. Contrast. That's the purpose of these things happening. When you have these experiences that are offering you contrast in your life, is to show you a belief system that you may have within yourself. Again, we're saying it again because it's just like we got to hear it. Like in the subconscious mind, we need to understand that when we're going through the experiences, we forget and we get into victim mode. Like, oh, it's me. Oh, I don't have this. Oh, I don't have that. Like we get like some whiny ass babies. You know what I'm saying? I know that sounds a little insensitive, but it's real. Know that contrast is just offering you an opportunity for something different to come into your existence, period.
Guilt is actually mechanically the opposite of love.
Yes.
Can you explain that for me?
Well, see, most people think fear is the opposite of.
Okay.
Sorry, gotta go back.
I heard
a
you say
second.
that guilt is actually mechanically the opposite of love.
Yes.
Can you explain that for me?
Well, see, most people think fear is the opposite of, but fear still implies that I'm worth something. You get angry, and you kind of like, react in an angry way that says, I'm trying to stand up for myself. But guilt, the fear connection and guilt connection are more like you are devaluing yourself. You're dismissing yourself as belonging. It's the I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving argument. Whereas anger is, oh, I deserve something, right? So it's still a form of love, but a negative expression of it. Whereas guilt is like, I'm just completely, I don't belong here. I'm not worthy. I should just go away. That's just a complete devaluation and dismissiveness of the self. And that's why it's the opposite of love, which is total acceptance of the self.
Okay, I get it. Before we move on from sort of the negative stuff, I just want to ask, how damaging is it to escape our emotions?
They can't really be run away from. Eventually they'll come back, and it can be very damaging because the more you ignore what the emotions are attempting to tell you about what beliefs you're holding on to, because that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, you have something here that is not in alignment with you, figure it out. So they're actually delivering a message, especially fear is delivering a message saying, you have a belief about something that's not working for you. You need to figure out what it is, or I'll get stronger next time and stronger the next time. And it can become crippling, and it can become crippling to a point where you finally don't think there's anything you can do about it at all. And that can be lethal. So it's important to pay attention to those messages when they come gently knocking, so they don't have to get your attention by beating you over the head with a stick.
Absolutely.
That's deep. How many of you have like heard someone say or have said yourself, like, man, I wish I was like so and so. Like they just act like they don't care about anything. You know what I mean? And I'm talking about not people who may be deeply understanding and don't allow things to affect them because they understand reality and healing and manifestation and all of that. I'm talking about people that we who act stoic or pretend to be stoic, right? All the while they're suffering on the inside, right? Because they're turning their emotions off. We tend, as people who are emotional, or you may be emotional yourself, it's like, oh, I wish I didn't feel so much. Like, no, the fact that you feel something is a fucking superpower, and you should accept that. And you should be grateful for that, because as he just said, it can be lethal. Eventually it puts you into a corner, and it will create some type of suffering. You may not see it in them, but trust and believe it's not a good time being that person. Okay, so always be grateful for the gifts that you've been given. Let's get back to it.
Do you think we live in an addicted society?
Well, yes, of course, addiction is a big issue, but addiction is generally the result of trying to fill an emptiness that you feel with things that don't fill that emptiness. It's, again, about the idea of self-fulfillment. I'm not worthy. There's an empty hole in me, and I don't know what to fill it with because I've never been taught about how I'm self-empowered. So I have to look to the outside world and objects and substances to fill or numb myself to the point where I don't even feel the hole anymore, but the hole is still there. So until you actually realize that what you need to fill that empty feeling with, that of course is being generated by negative belief systems about yourself, that's why you have the empty feeling, is to start examining those beliefs, see how nonsensical they are, let them go, and replace them with more positive understandings of yourself. But again, this can be more easily done when people, again, understand what Bashar kind of says is the obvious logic of reality. And he sort of expresses it like this. To people who have the fear that they're not worthy, he's saying, all right, well, you have to understand that existence and creation, they don't do pointless things. There's nothing pointless in existence. So if you exist and you're a part of it, there must be a reason for you to be you. Otherwise, isn't all that is. It needs you to be a part of it. You complete it. And therefore, just by the fact of your existence, creation knows you're worthy. Because if you weren't worthy, you wouldn't exist. So the idea of continually insisting that you're not worthy is like arguing with your own existence. You will never win that argument because you can never cease to exist. You may.
What did we talk about last week with the manifestation talk, right? We gave you an affirmation last week about knowing the fact that you're worthy just based on like what you deserve is yours based on your birthright, meaning you just being an aware being in this existence makes you worthy off rip, off top, without doing anything else. Know that you are worthy. Everything else, all the things that you feel about that are stuff that was projected onto you or experiences that you had to make you feel unvalued. Right? When you're in a caste system society, right, where there's a level of power, influence, and respect that comes from being rich, above, or a particular color, whatever, it makes you begin the self-loathing process. Do you understand? When you're told that you come into this world as this is the biggest mind fuck. This shit, sorry, I gotta say it. This is the biggest mind fuck ever. You came into this world a born sinner. I don't think many of us understand because you just hear it so much and you're young and you may not be able to process it. But you don't understand the level of mind control limitation that speaks into your existence. I came into this world a sinner. But what's the truth? He's telling you the truth. Just by existing, just by you being here, you are worthy, fam. It's your birthright. Huh? You came here to experience as an extension of God. As an extension of source experiencing itself. How dare they tell you that you aren't worthy? And that in order to be worthy, you must act in this way. Tiara says, yikes. Britt says, shaking my head, control tactics. Steph said, okay, that never made sense to me. Oh, you was hip. But I was under this belief system, so I'm glad I'm free. Man, I'm telling you, yo. This shit is so deep, bruh. And this is no knock to religion in whatever way, because you can still find some type of level of enlightenment through those experiences. So it's not coming from a place of judgment. But I just want to highlight to just show you guys more evidence and proof of how this shit works and how it affects you. So just off rip, you come into this world being taught that you must earn your value. You must earn your worthiness. You must prove that you are valuable to society. And how you do that is they tell you got to act a specific way and be a specific way. Or sorry, I said that twice. Be in a specific place, right? At a specific age, at a specific time. And you're supposed to have this and you're supposed to have that. So if you're not married at this age, if you don't have children at this age, if you don't have a business by this age, if you don't have this amount of money by this age, if you don't have a house by this age, if you don't have... Do y'all see what I'm saying? Your partner must look like this, must be like this. They got to act like that. You got to act like that. Everything, this mind, this shit is mind control at its finest. You understand what I'm saying? This shit is so deep, y'all. And here's the thing, we all suffer from this. Even when you become aware, we still don't get how deep this is. Because let's be honest, we're all in a place right now where we know there's more, which means that there's still more of shit for us to let go. And these same ideas are still showing up. My example is, and I still struggle with this to some degree, right? Because I should be posting more on my social media content. I'm intermittent with that. This has been the most consistent thing every Wednesday. I force myself to do this at a minimum. Okay, but I could be doing a lot more, and I plan on doing a lot more. As you can see, we're starting the Discord, not the Discord. Click the link above, reminder, get signed up, join the Telegram group. It's about to be lit. Download the app, it's free. Yeah. But I'm branching out and doing more, but look how long it took me to get here. I've been working on my own limitations, my own self-belief, my own worthiness. Like, who's gonna listen to me? Right? Like, these are the underlying things that may not necessarily be showing up in my mind every day, but my behaviors are showing it. Do you see what I'm saying? And this is me being real and vulnerable with y'all right now, bro. Like, this is part of the work. So just take the steps, do the things, right? Release the ideas. Maybe this is something that you can put in your manifestation that you're journaling about right now, right? That you started working on last week, right? Ask for the clarity, ask for the peace, ask to release the programming, ask to have the strength and the bravery to overcome the fears, to remember in those moments, to take the steps forward. This is what you can ask your spirit team and your angels for, fam. Right? Abundance, manifestation talk, all of this stuff matters. It's not just about fucking money, man. That's the sexy shit that these people online are talking to you about because it's sexy. Oh, I manifested $1 million in my bank account. Let me show you how. Whole time they're like, oh, I just wrote this down this many times and then I have this on my vision board. Yes, that does work to a degree, but you got to take this shit further. How about releasing the limitations? For some of us, that is not going to work. No offense. I'm not trying to put limitations here. I'm just speaking facts. That's not going to work for all of us because some of us have a whole bunch of real trauma because of our experience. Especially Black and brown people. Fam. Sorry, I don't know why I'm going off like this. I love all of you, I promise. Tiara's cracking up, but it's real talk, yo. Oh, all right, let's finish up this part, and then we'll talk.
Change form, but you can never cease to exist as you, as your perspective, because your viewpoint is required to complete all that is. So you'll never win that argument. And when people start understanding that it's not an argument they can win, can't run away from, and can't escape their own existence, then they can start coming to terms with the fact of, all right, if I can't stop existing, how would I rather my existence be experienced? And then they can start working with the beliefs that made them feel that they are unworthy to begin with, because there's no other way to go. It's kind of like that old saying, it's like, well, once you reach the bottom, there's no way to go but up. So understanding that you cannot stop existing will be the way to start sending you up, because now you're looking for ways to exist that are better for you, as opposed to thinking you can actually run away from existence, which can't be done.
No.
So
I went to quite an extreme to try.
No.
Luckily.
Wow. Like, oh, Britt says it's the passion for me. I love it. Yo, what a gem. Like this man is just dropping so many gems. So shout out to Britt for putting me on to this. She sent me this, I think, yesterday. Like, Spirit always be putting stuff in my awareness at the right times. Another affirmation you can say, by the way. I gotta start charging y'all for this, for real. Anyway, like, my goodness. Once you begin to accept the broader ideas that, like, past lives, etc. Once you realize that escapism and shit like that can't work, when you've hit rock bottom, it's like, okay, I've hit this space where, like, I realize, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, maybe I just got to choose better things, better thoughts. Then your life begins to change. Sometimes it takes that, but you don't have, y'all watching this right now, y'all don't have to experience that because y'all watching this right now. Isn't that a beautiful thing? But there's just something really, really powerful about that statement and saying that, like, yo, you can't not exist, period. Even when you go back to source and you become this so-called light or whatever it is that people have been able to experience through channeling and knowledge from the elders or whatever, right? Being back and one with God. Like, even in that is existence. You may not be in the form of which of your awareness as it is now. You may not have the level of separation that we experience in this construct. But there's so many to experience, right? Like, you can never get bored anyway. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But just the fact that you exist makes you worthy, okay? I want you to sear that into your mind. As you sear that into your mind, then you can say, okay, it's not impossible for me to be a fucking billionaire because I'm worthy of it just by existing. Has nothing to do about your past. It doesn't have to do with you accepting a God, accepting certain religion rules or dharma or whatever. Missing the word as a word that I'm trying to. I'm starting to get tired, so I think it's starting to leave me now. But y'all get what I'm trying to say, right? It's not your religion that's gonna save you. That if you accept these terms, that this is gonna work, like, and that's how you're saved. Like, no. You're saved now. You are saved right now. Your choice, though, is up to you on whether or not you are ready to face your fears, get over them, and begin to live that life of expansion that you deserve. Okay. So who else is in here? Let me get ones in the chat. Who in here is ready to expand and live the life that they deserve? Big ones for me. I damn near put 2 in there. Who's ready? Yup. Tiara said, big one. Come on. I need my ones, yo. I need my ones in here. You got to be ready. It's time. We don't got time to waste no more. My man Artist said 1. Yup. It's time. It's time. Britt said 1. Let's go. Triple 1. Let's go. Who else we got in here? Come on. Give me them ones. It's time. See, writing these ones gives this affirmation to you and your soul and your brain to begin to have your life change. It's time, fam. It's 100% time, fam. All right. Now I had more for y'all, but my energy is getting low. So I think we're gonna have to make this a part 2. All right. Steph gave me a 1. My battery is running low on my laptop, so I'm definitely gonna take that as a sign. We'll do part 2 of this where we'll finish up because there's some more gems that we gotta unpack from this interview. My goodness. Shout out to the homie Darryl, Anka, and Bashar. We're very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful for this. Thank you, Brittany, for sending this to me. This was extremely powerful. Thank you all for showing up tonight for me and yourself, okay? I really hope that you all have received beautiful messages that will help you on your journey, help you expand, help you believe in yourself, help you know that your true value and worth. Because I truly believe in the shit that I'm sharing with you guys, and I'm seeing it in my life in small ways, and it's continuing to develop and snowball. So listen, as far as I'm concerned, I'm taking all of you with me if you so decide. You just simply need to make the choice, right? Join me on this journey of expansion. Let's share stories together. Let's motivate and push each other into this great world that we can experience, this great new dimension that we can experience. We don't have to participate in the bullshit anymore. Life can be grand. And you don't have to do it alone. So click the link at the top of the chat. Sign up for the Telegram group. And, we're going to see y'all next week. Before I rock, any questions, concerns, comments? Holler at me real quick. I'll open the stage. Give y'all a second because I know the chat's slow. Look at me grabbing my mug and there's nothing in it. I crush my tea, y'all. I absolutely crush my go-to cola. How we feeling in the chat? Any questions? Any comments before we rock, before we leave for the evening? Oh, thank you, T. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you enjoyed. And you know what? Side note, maybe what I'll do is maybe I won't do the full thing of these lives anymore on YouTube. Like, y'all gonna have to join the Telegram to get like the exclusive shit. We might have to, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Freedom. Yes, Stephanie. Freedom. True freedom. Okay? True abundance. That's the energy that we're on. We not on what everybody else is on. You hear what I'm saying? Like, everybody else is just talking about money, but I want abundance of all things. I want abundance of great relationships. I want abundance of health. I want abundance of wellness. I want abundance of beautiful experiences. Okay? I want abundance of freedoms. Financial, mental, emotional, spiritual. I want it all because I deserve it. I was born deserving this shit. Before I was even born, I was deserving of this shit. Oh, man. Listen, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining, man. It was beautiful. Share this with someone that you think will be helpful. And we'll come back and we'll wrap up this interview. And we'll also have another message from Spirit as well. Reminders for you guys, okay? Manifestation, this is a great time. And mind you, I've said this before. I feel like I've maybe to people personally in my life. But shout out to Professor Melanie. She reminded me of this the other day as well. Every day is a great day to manifest for you. You don't have to wait for a Lionsgate portal or whatever to connect to your team and ask them for your want. Every day you can ask for the great abundance. It's just right now, there's a great energy around it. So take advantage of it, right? So yeah, the 17th, another great day to do your own manifestation ritual tingies. 26 is another great day. And every day in and after that as well. Steph said, you said a mouthful. Facts. I sure did. Now I'm tired of talking. I'm about to be quiet for the next hour or two. Take my ass to sleep. Listen, I appreciate you guys. I love you all. Thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for showing up for me. Thank you for showing up for yourself. You know, spiritual gems is that thing. I also forgot to say that, you know, thank you for coming through. What is it about my little moniker? Welcome to Spiritual Gems, where we perceive reality from a higher mind. So thank you for joining me in this process. I'll holler at y'all. See y'all next week. And we gone. Yeah.